Hello everyone, welcome back. Adam here with our stream recap for September 17th through the 22nd. What a crazy week. You might notice that we're starting out this one with the Darkest Dungeon background instead of the Mass Effect background. It's not because we didn't play Mass Effect, it's because we did something awesome in Darkest Dungeon. So this recap's going to go over our Darkest Dungeon challenge, which we completed. That's right, we completed it. It's also going to talk about Mass Effect a little bit, Mass Effect 2, where we're at in that. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, we did play another game, but I'll get to why we did, and there's not too much to go over with that one. So this one should be shorter than the last one. Hopefully. That's the goal, to trim these down. But I need to get all the information in, right? So, guys, we finished our Darkest Dungeon challenge. It's still hard to believe that I did it. In fact, Phoenix found a portion of a VOD from when we were first starting it, when I was thinking about this challenge. And in the clip, I'll post the clip on the Discord and stuff. In the clip, I said, I'm not sure if this is possible. Can we really do this? Well, we did it. It took 2 tries, only 2 tries. The first try we lost really early on because I was trying torchless craziness. But, I mean, we had 2, we had 2 champion bosses left, if you remember the last recap. The cannon and the flesh. So we got to those, we unlocked those, we killed them. And then we had the Countess. Now, the Countess is probably the toughest boss in the game. She's brutal. She can absolutely kill in many ways. She has, in one of her forms, she has 4 actions per round. So if your team is too fast, you get into the issue of, you all going before her and then her taking like all 4 of her actions back to back to back to back. And it can just be really brutal. We destroyed the Countess. So we made it to her. I built a team in order to get to her in one shot. And we did that. And then I came back in with the team I wanted to kill her with. And we camped and stuff like that. I used a Man-at-Arms, a Highwayman, a Houndmaster, and a Vestal. And I stacked dodge through the roof. So the Countess only hit us like 2 times. And only one of those is very deadly. She puts this like spore parasite thing on you that eventually, this pustule type thing that eventually pops. And she did get that off on her Vestal, who had the lowest dodge. And when it blew up, it took our Vestal down to like 10% health or something. So pretty scary, But we ended up finishing the Countess fight with full health and like 20 stress total across all of our characters. So we destroyed the Countess. Thanks for stacking dodge and for knowing what's going to happen and planning a team. So anyway, that concluded that stream Thursday night. And then Friday night, it was time to do the Darkest Dungeons. In the beginning of the stream, I was like, okay, Darkest Dungeons are brutal. Take a long time. We'll probably get through at least 2 of them tonight. Maybe a 3rd one. But we definitely want to do 4. We did all 4 on Friday. So if you're looking for a VOD to watch, last Thursday and Friday's VODs. Thursday for the Countess run. Friday for all the Darkest Dungeons and the completion of this run. Guys, we beat them all. We beat them. We did the challenge. So we finished Bloodmoon, the hardest difficulty in Darkest Dungeon. We killed every boss in the 100-week timer. We even did all the Crimson Court before we did the Darkest Dungeons. We did all the Darkest Dungeons, including the last one, where typically the end boss kills 2 of your people and you can't do anything about it. We did all of it with no deaths. And the way that I ended up having to do Darkest Dungeon 4, there's 2 options. There's 2 ways to make it so that the heart doesn't kill someone. Spoiler alert. If you're watching this, I guess you don't care about spoilers anyway. But you can either one-shot the boss, which is, it's pretty gimmicky, and it might screw up. Or you can 2-man it. So after a lot of thinking, going back and forth, over the course of this entire challenge, I decided to 2-man it. Houndmaster, Crusader, and we went in, and the goal was to stack dodge and have the Houndmaster guard most of the time. Right off the bat, before we can get all the dodge rolling, our Houndmaster got to like 80-something stress, and my heart sank into my stomach. I was like, I've made a terrible mistake. I'm going to lose this challenge. But thankfully, I brought the Crusader, and this is why. So the Crusader was able to heal and stress heal the Houndmaster back up before resuming the fight. The fight took forever. Phase 1 probably took like, almost 90 minutes. And the rest of it went by a little bit faster, but we won. There was only that one. There was like 2 scary parts. That one, and then during Phase 2, during the big Ancestor, he does quite a bit of AoE, and since our Crusader didn't have quite as high dodge as the Houndmaster, he got hit a few times. Our Houndmaster did get down to like 10 health with a bleed once. So, I mean, it wasn't all, worry-free, but we did it. We beat it. True Deathless. The only boss we did not kill is Wolf, and that's because he didn't show up. He has a chance to show up after like week 35 if you have high enough level characters, and he just never showed up. So I have no doubts that we would have killed him pretty easily. Last time I faced Wolf on Bloodmoon, we beat him very easily. So, I mean, you never know. Things can go wrong. Guys, we did it. I've looked, and I can't find video evidence of anyone else doing Bloodmoon all bosses in the time limit with no deaths. So I'm going to upload that here to YouTube at some point before too long. But super awesome. I'm sure I wasn't the first one ever to do it, but it's the only recording of it that I can find, so that's cool. So there you go, Darkest Dungeon. Now, we've done crazy challenges at Darkest Dungeon. We've done Bloodmoon with no deaths. We have done Torchless Bloodmoon twice, before the Color Madness patch, then after during that really high monster crit patch that they eventually nerfed. And so we've beaten it twice, and we're kind of running out of worthy challenges. There's currently a poll up, so if you come to this before Thursday, go to the channel, type exclamation poll, or go by the Discord. And there's a poll up for the next Darkest Dungeon challenge. Currently, there is a Highlander challenge that is being, mainly voted for, and I'll probably make a side little video about what that is if it wins before we start it. So, I think that's about it for Darkest Dungeon for now, though. We're not done with Darkest Dungeon, but we're just looking for a challenge that is difficult, fun to play, fun to watch, and isn't like super silly, and is possible. So, all right, on to Mass Effect 2. So, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we did Mass Effect 2, and that's the plan this week too. I feel like we'll beat it this week. If it's slightly longer than the first game, we probably have like 2, maybe 3 streams of it left. So let's see. Sorry, I have my notes, but I scrolled to an incorrect part. All right, so we did get 2 new characters at the beginning of the week. So we unlocked Thane. Thane is a Drell. Drell are kind of, they're kind of lizard-like. He's a Drell assassin. So the Drell, we find out, basically live on the Hanar homeworld. Hanar are those jellyfish people that worship the Protheans. So the Hanar saved the Drell. Drell are not native to the Hanar homeworld, but that's where they live now. They were going to go extinct. The Hanar saved them. But the downside is that the Drell, too much moisture in the air or whatnot, too much humidity, kills them over time. So the Hanar homeworld is very rainy, moist, and it basically slowly kills them all. But if it wasn't for the Hanar saving them, they would all be dead anyway. So they owe them a lot. They stay on that planet even so. But anyway, we find out Thane is an assassin, like I said, and he is dying of this disease. And because he's in the last bits of his life, he's starting to look back and analyze what he's done. And he regrets being an assassin. He regrets leaving his family. He regrets leaving his son behind to go be an assassin, pretty much. And he has found out that his son is following in his footsteps. His son is wanting to become an assassin and has taken up his, I think, first job at the Citadel. So anyway, Thane, to find him, before this, let me get ahead of myself. To find him, we go to Ilium, which is an Asari world, and he has a target there that he's trying to kill in this huge skyscraper. So we fight our way up the skyscraper. We are tempted to kick someone through the window, but we don't choose that route because we're being not too renegade. And then there's kind of a cutscene when we do find her, with him like coming out of the rafters or whatever, the woodwork, so to say, and just like seamlessly killing people, ninja style. Pretty awesome. But Anyway, he seems like a very religious type character as well, and he agrees to join us. Whether it's to like atone for his sins, part of it's I'm sure to find his son, but at this point, all we know is that he joins us. And then we head off to get the Justicar, which is our last target to join the team that the Elusive Man gave us, Samara. So Asari, so she's an Asari, a blue lady, but they have this like warrior class. They're almost legendary. They're like warrior monks, sort of. They follow this like ancient code, and they follow it super closely, and they always go by the code, even if it means like the code to get to whatever their primary objective is. If police stand in their way, they will kill the police. Like they go by the code no matter what. Okay. And currently she's on Ilium, which again, the Sorry World, and she's basically there helping out with like this murder. So we end up helping the police there, find the person responsible for the murder. We basically break up a huge drug ring and trafficking type thing. Now, a small note. I know I'm going through this a little bit quick, but, you know, there wasn't a whole lot of super, like, don't get me wrong. The Thana Asara thing, or Samara and things were interesting. I like them as a character. I think it's well written and the storylines there too. But at this point, there's not like, you know, anything super macro happening. So I'm going through these a little bit quicker. When we get to their loyalty missions, it fleshes them out a little bit more. But one of the things to note while we're there is we come across Nif2. So Nif2 is one of my favorite little side characters, and I mean, he's got such a small part so far. I don't know if he'll ever have a... He's a Volus, so like the mole, like trader people. And we find him as we're going through like this, you know, drug trafficking area. And it turns out he's been doing a lot of drugs. Now, this drug that is there basically super increases biotic power, but if you use it too much, you die. Also makes you like super high. So we run into him, and he's like, "Bow before me, I am a biotic god." And he's like stumbling around and talking about how he's going to destroy the universe. And so we just give him a little push, and it knocks him over. But anyway, really like Nif2. And so after we break this up and we, you know, kill the people that are responsible for it, and we out the person that's responsible for trafficking the drugs and give the information to the police in order to know who and to put them behind bars and stuff, Samara agrees to join us because she thinks going with us might get her closer to her ultimate goal, which is to kill an Ardat Yakshi, which I'll explain more of later when we do her loyalty mission. But it's kind of weird stuff. So anyway, we get Samara, like I said, Asari, Justicar, warrior monk type lady. All right, so now we have a full crew. As I understand it, there are some more crew members in the DLC, but I do not have the DLC. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it. I might. I don't know yet. I know I'm running out of time to get it because we're getting far into the game, but anyway, I'll think about it. So we have a full crew, and I want to do some loyalty missions. But before I get a chance, we are whisked away by the Elusive Man. So it turns out that a collector ship has supposedly been disabled by a Turian ship. Now, collector ships are massive. These things are huge. Like, at the beginning of the game, when one destroyed the original Normandy, it was, I don't know, you could probably have fit 50 plus Normandies in it. They're huge. And somehow a Turian ship disabled it. So we're like, okay, well, send us over. We'll go explore. So we go explore, and it's nearly empty. And we keep exploring it, and then there's this big reveal. We find tons of empty pods where, it turns out it's the same collector ship from early in the game that took, you know, the civilians from that one planet. Anyway, we find a collector in a pod. We scan it, and we find out that it's a Prothean. So the collectors are Protheans, but they're an altered Prothean. So they've been altered by the Reapers, it seems. Their genetic makeup is a little bit different, and we know from the first game that Reapers have done this before, so of course, why wouldn't they have kept doing it? Like, they did it to the Keepers, right? They didn't completely annihilate the Keeper race. They kept them for a purpose. They genetically altered them or selectively bred them to keep the Citadel going without question, and to usher in the back, or to open up the back door to usher in the Reapers every, however many years. So it makes sense that they would do this again. So we also know that the 12 Prothean scientists that lived on Elos, that went back to the Citadel to relay information with the beacons and stuff for future life, to warn them about the Reapers, they apparently didn't die on the Citadel. They were probably taken by the Reapers. And even if those ones weren't, while the Reapers are exterminating other Protheans, they probably kept some of it. Excuse me. So anyway, the Reapers have genetically altered or selectively bred Protheans. Now the Protheans are these bug-like, they were probably bug-like anyway. In fact, someone says they always thought the Protheans would be like regal, godlike things, not bugs. So, right after we figure this out, we also get an option of choosing like this awesome sniper rifle or learning a new weapon because of our infiltrator class, and I choose the awesome sniper rifle. The sniper rifle is good against all kinds of barriers and shields and everything. So usually the points where a sniper rifle is weak against, this one's strong against it. So I figured I should go with that, especially with how often I use them. The downside is it doesn't have much ammo, but anyway, still good. Lots of damage, bypass stuff. So anyway, the ship eventually starts coming online. We get into this huge fight, and we end up surviving, winning, of course, because we're the saviors of the galaxy. So we win. And then when we get off there and get into Normandy, the collector ship's coming online. It's going to destroy the new Normandy, but we managed to escape. Of course, we have some choice words for the elusive man, and he's like, I knew it was a trap, but I had to lie. It's like, I set all this up. Obviously, it wasn't a Turian ship that disabled it. I knew it was a trap, but I had to get you on there without there being any way for that information to leak to the collectors, so that you could get the information. This is our only chance. So anyway, I really don't trust him, of course. The information that we got, aside from that collectors are Prothean, is that the information for the Omega 4 relay. The Omega 4 relay is the relay that the collectors come and go through, and anyone else that's ever tried to do it never comes back. So we learn that there's a secret way to go through it, basically, or something that you need. But aside from all that, we also learn where it goes. It goes to the center of the galaxy, which is kind of weird, because that's basically a huge area where stars are constantly... It's chaos, right? It's very dangerous. So anyway, we learn that. All right, so then we do some loyalty missions. Now, loyalty missions are kind of interesting. So basically, once you do someone's loyalty mission, as long as you don't fail it or do something bad on it, they unlock a new power and they trust you more. So we start out with Miranda's. We learn that Miranda has a twin sister, Oriana, and Miranda basically kidnapped her, smuggled her away. We learn in a little while that even though they're twins, now remember, Miranda was basically genetically made. Her dad designed her, right? So even they're different ages. Miranda's a bit older, even though they're twins, because her twin is basically the exact same genetic model as Miranda. So anyway, she smuggled her way into her own family because Miranda did not want what happened to her to happen to her sister Oriana. So we find out that the people who work for her dad might have found out about Oriana and where she is, and we find out she's on Ilium, so we go to Ilium. There's a lot of like quests that are targeted on certain worlds. Ilium was one of the ones that we did a lot on. So anyway, we go to Ilium to help Miranda stop this from happening. It turns out that the only person... So when Miranda left her father, ran away to join Cerberus and whatnot, and left everyone in her old life behind, she basically destroyed all evidence of her and who she had contact with, everything. She ghosted everyone in her life, aside from this one guy, her one best friend. So of course it turns out that's the guy that finds about the sister and wants to stop her. But anyway, we end up stopping them, and long story short, Miranda has the option. So we stop them. We save Miranda's sister. But Miranda's sister doesn't even know that we've saved her. And then we see Miranda's sister, and Miranda's like, you know, we're like, you should go talk to her. And she's like, no, she doesn't need to know any of this. And we're like, no, you should talk to her. So she goes and talks to her. And we find out a little bit later through messages that her sister knew a little bit about this. Because remember, Miranda is like super intelligent because of her genetic design. And her sister is also. So obviously her sister found out a lot of this stuff. But we earned Miranda's loyalty. So next is Morden's. And Morden has become one of my favorite characters in the whole series. He is one of the, if you remember, he's one of our team members, obviously, our crew members, who he was the scientist that worked on the Krogan genophage. So anyway, we learn that Blood Pack mercenaries have captured one of Morden's fellow scientists that worked on the genophage with him. And one of his friends, not just his friends and colleague, but an actual student of Morden. So we obviously go to free him on I'm making sure, trying to make sure, Tuchanka, that's it. Tuchanka, which is the Krogan homeworld. So anyway, we go there to save him, and we fight through all these Krogan and mercenaries and stuff. We find out from one of the main Krogans that they obviously captured him. Well, they obviously have him to reverse the genophage so that the Krogan can rise up and, you know, take over the galaxy and, you know, wipe everyone else out in a sea of blood or something, he puts it. So anyway, it's not good. They want to reverse the genophage so that Krogans can take over. We end up killing our way to Malin. I think it was Malin, which is Morden's, like I said, student, colleague, etc. But he's not restrained. He's just in there working. No locks, no nothing. So we find out that Malin is doing this on his own free will. He didn't get captured. He wants this. So he wants to reverse the genophage because he feels really guilty for playing God. And there's all this, like, you know, existential crisis sort of stuff, and Morden and him are arguing about things, and we try to talk him down about it, but he's adamant. And so Morden's going to kill him. Morden's about to shoot him in the head, but we stop Morden. We're like, hey, you don't want to do this. You were at this. And then we have to decide, so after this, whether we destroy this work that he's done on curing the genophage. Now, it's important to note that on the way here, we find out that they've been experimenting on Krogan, living test subjects, humans, and animals, and doing terrible things to them. We find out from Morden that they never tested on living subjects when they were making the genophage. They only tested on animals and, you know, simulations. They never test. So Malin's been testing these things on people and Krogan and basically torturing them and having them die slowly while he's doing all these crazy things to them. But anyway, we have this option. The cure is maybe 1 or 2 years out of work, so he's worked on it quite a bit. We can either destroy this information or we can let Morden keep it, and we have to decide. So after a very long debate, one of the longest that we've had on a choice in the game, I decided to let him keep it just because it's better to have options going into the future, I think. I was really on the fence though. But here's the thing, like, all of the so without the genophage, the Krogan would have taken over the galaxy. Every single simulation, everything shows that the Krogan would have taken over the galaxy. They would have gone to war, and it still shows that always. So Morden is like, you know, 100%, no matter what, this is what will happen. So we can never cure the genophage. But it doesn't account for outliers, and he says as much too. Earlier on, he's talking about something else though, but he talks about outliers like us, like Shepard, like Rex. You know, there are outliers in every species, heroes and villains that things like simulations can't really account for, personalities and things. So with how Rex is doing, and we'll get more into Rex in a minute, he's basically trying to unite the Krogans on their homeworlds. And despite the genophage is trying to spread. So the genophage is not there to make them extinct. It's there to keep them at a level, you know, just not explode in population. So anyway, I have him keep it, and part of it is all of this research, as terrible as it was, like, it would have been for nothing if we destroyed that. Now, I know that's not a super good argument, because if you look in, true history outside of the game, let's say, but here's one of the debates that we had on stream that got us to the decision of probably keeping it just in case we need it. Now, imagine if some evil group, like the Nazis or something, is terrible, and obviously I'm not condoning any of this, but all that terrible crap they did, all the research, like the torturing scientific research on like twins and stuff, just disgusting, terrible things. Now, if that research would have gotten as terrible as it is, if it would have gotten to a point where they found like a cure for cancer, let's say, do you destroy that cure you found for cancer because it came from these terrible people and the terrible things they did? I mean, yeah, if you could go back and make it so they didn't do any of those things, that's ideal. But can't do that, and you have this. Why destroy it? That doesn't necessarily mean you condoned how it got to that point, but it's already to that point. Stop any future, terrible things from happening for this goal, but don't get rid of, the good that came from it, sort of thing. Hopefully that makes sense and doesn't come off in the wrong light, because obviously I don't condone any of that in real life, and the parallel in the game, which I've talked about the genophage quite a bit before. So anyway, Morden now trusts us after this. Now we're still on the Krogan homeworld, and Grunt has his loyalty quest there, so we do Grunts on Tuchanka. We see Rex, we talk to him, he's in charge, basically. Krogans are still very much tribal and clan-based, but he's trying to unite them, and it's a lot of work. And we talk to him quite a bit, but nothing like super major to go over. We find out that quite a few people just hate Grunt right off the bat because he's not a real Krogan. His mother and father were a syringe, they say. But we get the choice of doing the Krogan rite of passage. And as his crew member and captain, he gets to choose us to be on his team. So we do that. We fight a ton of enemies that are native to the Krogan homeworld, and that align with Krogan history to getting to space and stuff. And we even have to kill a Thresher Maw, which is the giant worm things that we fought in the first game, but we had a tank and we had to fight it on foot, and we kill it. And the last person to kill a Thresher Maw on foot on their rite of passage was Rex. And so anyway, Grunt gets inducted into the Urdnot clan, which is Rex's clan, and we earned Grunt's loyalty, and he stays with us. So then we have 2 more that we do before the end of the week, and these are the last 2, so we're almost done with this video. They're both at the Citadel. Garrus. So Garrus, we learned earlier, was Archangel, right? And the reason why he was sniping those people, and anyway, we went over that in a previous episode of this recap, but we know that Garrus's team, like, Garrus was basically drawn away, and then one of the members of his team betrayed and killed all the others, like 10 people that were friends and super loyal to Garrus. Just killed him in cold blood. So Garrus wants revenge, basically. And he's found out that this guy is at the Citadel, and we're like, okay, we'll help you. So we go to the Citadel, and we help Garrus find his way to this guy. I mean, long story short, and we basically end up having the option of letting Garrus kill him or not. And I debated this as well. I ended up letting him kill him, though, because here's the thing. As much as it's like easy to tell someone from the outside, look, justice can be served still, can be put in prison or whatnot, rot there for the rest of his life, if he's convicted, which I doubt it would have been with the circumstances leading up to this. But anyway, but I was like, all right, take the 10 people so these are the 10 people Garrus was most close to in life. Take the 10 people that I'm closest to, right? Family, best friends, etc. If someone killed them all in cold blood, ambushed them, would I want to kill that person? Would I want revenge? Yes. I know eye for an eye leaves the world blind, right? But if you think about it, the 10 people closest to you, someone kills all of them. It would be difficult to say, oh, well, let them live. So anyway, I'll let Garrus kill him, and Garrus now trusts us as well. Okay, the last one we do is Thanes. Thanes is also in the Citadel. So again, Thane is trying to find his son. We've gotten information that a Drell assassin has been hired or spotted on the Citadel, and so we go there to investigate. Like I said, he doesn't want his son to follow his footsteps. So we also meet Mouse, who used to be an orphan kid. There's apparently lots of orphan kids that live in like the vents and stuff on the Citadel, and he knows Thane. He calls him by a different name. I can't remember it, but Thane had all kinds of aliases because he's a assassin. And Mouse basically remembers him, and Thane used to give him like food and money and things to tell him what he's seen and heard around the Citadel. But anyway, we find out who the target is. It's basically a politician that hates humans, a Turian, of course. And we have to follow him around through the rafters, and after a buggy part, we actually had to reset because I don't really know it. Anyway, after a buggy part, we eventually get to where the ambush site is, and we stop Thane's son. He's super mad though, and he's like, "What? You're trying to make amends now after leaving me as a child?" And it's like, "No, I'm going to do this. This is my life." Teenage angsty Drell kind of stuff. But we basically talk him down, and he's still upset though. It isn't like he doesn't do a 180 like a lot of people in games like this. So he's still upset. He doesn't just accept it. So there's a lot of rebuilding of relationship that's going to happen there. And the CSEC officer, basically the police lead guy there on the Citadel, takes Thane's son. I don't know if he's like considered working for. I guess so. But anyway, he keeps him there, and we also convince him to get rid of the records of all of Thane's assassinations. Illegal. I don't know. I mean, that cop is super shady. But the point is, his son is going to help CSEC, so he's going to use his special talents to help the police, to help the law of the Citadel, rather than to be a assassin and get paid off by drug dealers and whatever else to kill people. So that was pretty much it. Thane trusts us now. Everyone trusts us now, aside from Samara. Now, Samara the Justicar, we were about to do her loyalty thing, and then my internet cut out Wednesday night, so we didn't get a chance to do that. So anyway, next up on Mass Effect 2, we will be doing Samara's loyalty mission, and then we'll be going to the center of the galaxy to see what's going on with the collectors in that section, and who knows what from there. I'm still blind, thankfully, to the game. Now, a quick note, I mean, hey, we are ending sooner than the last one. Like I said, we're not done with Darkest Dungeon, even though we've done some crazy challenges. So please vote for that if you want a word in what we're going to play next. As far as stream goes, I know I don't talk about numbers on stream too very much, but I do have to say that, as most of you know, the dream is to make the stream what supports me and my family, pays our bills, buys our food, pays our taxes. If it gets to that point, that's the dream, right? Anything past that, great, but that's really the dream. And so I have to keep in mind numbers and things like that. So Mass Effect nights have not been great for numbers, but I'm super enjoying the game. It's hard to do that balance, right? To find something that I really enjoy, that people like to watch, and that is going to allow new people to find the stream without alienating current viewers. So Mass Effect has been pretty detrimental to that. I do want to play Mass Effect 3, and I feel like I'm going to, but I also feel like between story games, we might need to take like a week break. So once we're done with Mass Effect 2, I'll probably have a week where we play some other things on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before we continue into Mass Effect 3 and finish out the original trilogy. So, all right, guys, I think that's it. Look at that. still 30 minutes. Anyway, guys, I will see you in the channel. Again, as always, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Saturday. See you guys then.